and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about healthy relationships. Whether you are starting a new relationship, are in a relationship, want to make your current bond stronger or healthier, then this is what I want to talk about. I think over the years I've learned what is unhealthy and what is healthy. So this is my second relationship. My first relationship, my marriage, was unhealthy, and I just want to talk about things that kind of got me to a place where things are now healthy and better, including myself, and how I, as the person within the relationship, has allowed the changes to occur. So I'll be looking at my notes because I want to make sure that I don't miss anything out. So I will be looking at my laptop, but also talking to you at the same time. And so my eyes will move from this place to this place, but that's just because I'm just gathering my notes. So I think the first thing that I want to talk about, and I'll talk about two separate relationships and show you what so I think even just starting, when you're just starting out dating, you need to be able to choose the person who is right for you, and you will only know that when you have become like quite secure and safe in yourself. And I think at the beginning, when I first got married, I was too young. I was not sure of myself. I was insecure. And that caused me to behave in certain ways that were not healthy. But at the same time, it attracted the certain person who was on that kind of level. So I think if I was myself at the time, I would have attracted a totally different person. And the reason why I say that is that when you're yourself and you're just who you are, people will either like it or not like it. And I think that I pretended a lot to be somebody I was not. I pretended even within friendship groups sometimes to be someone I was not, and I think that caused me to attract people who I didn't like, or who would have taken more advantage of me because I was acting like I was a certain way when I actually wasn't. And I think that also the foundation of having a good relationship is trust. You have to have trust. It's the cornerstone of a relationship. If there's no trust, you are never ever going to feel safe within the relationship. And in my first relationship, there was no trust, and it did manifest anyway. I I was always insecure, and there was no trust. I never trusted my partner, and my partner was not trustworthy. Unfortunately, he was cheating, he wasn't having affairs and stuff like that, and that just broke the trust. And I would say that in a relationship, it takes two of you to tango. It takes two people, and even though at the time I would say he's more to blame, I too have a responsibility. So in maintaining a relationship, there's a dance. So you are also inputting something into that relationship that is causing this rift between you, the person, and the relationship. So trust is important. It is about being honest, it is about being reliable, and it's about being dependable. And that works both ways. I need to be trustworthy, I need to be reliable, and I need to be dependable, as well as your partner needs to be reliable, trustworthy, and dependable. If those things don't happen both ways, it's not going to work. Because if one person is only doing it and the other one is not, it's not going to work. And I think I'll talk about like how you can in your dating life. So if you haven't already got into the in a relationship, in your dating life, you will be able to pick up signs immediately that this person is not trustworthy, is not dependable. And how would you pick that out? This person does not call you when they say they'll call you. They turn up late to dates. They say one thing and don't do it, or they don't follow through. That is a clear sign that this person is not dependable, and they do it more often than like just once. Then it's this is where you start to be make a decision. This is where you when you start to know who you are, that I'm not accepting this. I'm not staying in this really. I'm not dating this person. You are unreliable. And I learned that later actually in my dating life. I realized that if I am accepting of certain behaviors, I will accept certain people in my life that actually will cause me more pain and unrest than necessary. And that is really, really important when you're starting to date. If this person is causing you unrest, unsettling, I'm like, oh, says makes a day, because I've dated people like that. They'll make a a date, then they'll cancel on you, or they don't text you back, or they make you wait. That's not that for me. That personally wasn't for me, and I didn't need to endure it. I didn't need to endure or be strong. I needed to say, this is not for me. I'll find someone who does these things. And I, like in my previous relationship, it seemed to be something that I accepted a lot. But in this time around, because I started dating in my 40s, um, it was unacceptable. Um, I don't care how cute you look. If you can't follow up or follow through on things that you say you're going to do, I don't want you in my life. And that's how I started to act. So being yourself will bring right people to you. And I hope you understand that. The other thing is that you need is respect on both sides. You have to treat your partner with kindness, empathy, consideration, and respecting their boundaries and their feelings. So it's both ways. I came from a relationship where I was always insecure because, like I said, my partner was cheating, was doing certain things, so it caused a huge insecurity. However, when I walked into the relationship, I was already insecure, and then it just fed into that, and I chose a partner who I think there were many signs that I chose to ignore while I was dating him. And this is a learning experience. It's not something you blame yourself for. It's not something that you say you are wrong for. It's just something that you accept that, no, I was in a different position at that time. You need to be having respect, and that person needs to respect you and respect people's boundaries. And I found that when I did like go into this new relationship, still had those issues. However, I was more in tune with myself. And when you say boundaries, you've got to be kind and empathetic towards people and consider their feelings and what they think. And you won't always be right, and you won't always accept what they say, but you have to be kind and agree to disagree. You have to be mature enough to understand that, okay, this is what you feel, I'm going to respect that. I don't actually particularly accept it, and as long as it's not something that's hurting you, and it's not gonna do any like damage to you personally, it is not. You can let that go, and to also accept people's boundaries. So you don't need to be going through people's phones. I used to do that with my ex-partner when he was cheating in my marriage. Don't go through people's phones. If a man is cheating on you, he's cheating on you. Going through his phone ain't going to change nothing. It's not going to change anything. So just leave that be. Somebody who's doing things like that will reveal themselves in time. You don't need to go searching. You don't need to be a detective. You don't need to do any of that. Let it go. It's too stressful because you're not concentrating on the relationship. If a relationship is unfaithful, it will reveal itself. Either that person will have enough, or the person he's dating will reveal it at some point. It will come to light. You don't need to detect or whatever. And if you feel that you can't stay in a relationship, and you feel and you think there's that infidelity is going on, then you need to step out of it. That's why I say it's important to know yourself. Anyway, the next one is communication. Communication is really important, and I think I'll say personally, I think men have a harder time communicating than women. Women communicate. I think women over communicate. We over communicate because we communicate with our emotions, how you feel and all that. But however, sometimes when we over communicate, we suppress what the other person is trying to communicate because we are over communicating. I do that, and I'm learning now, ever since I've had my son as well, to just hold back a little bit and not over communicate. And yeah, I have feelings, but so does my partner. They have feelings as well. So you have to understand communication is on it. You be open and share your thoughts, but you also have to give that other person the ability to be open to share their thoughts with you without feeling threatened by what they say, because they are also a person. And I feel like it happens a lot in the female and male dynamic. Women will communicate, oh, you don't do this, or this is what's happening, and they get so emotional. However, we never allow the space for that person to give us feedback as to why certain things are the way they are, or how they are particularly feeling. So I had to kind of learn a lot of that, and I've been doing a less like always, and it's by doing that, it brings a lot of peace into your relationship, and it allows the other person to communicate a lot more with you when you didn't. And I realized that I used to do that. You don't, but if you don't give spaces and gaps for the other person to communicate with you, you will not get that communication back. So that is really important to take on board. It's like, let me hear this person out. And sometimes I don't always need to be talking, talking, talking. And if I've said something, they will take it on board, and give them time to act it out. Give them time, because it's something new, So hopefully that makes some sense. I'm just going to scroll down to that. If you, over the first period of your relationship, you getting to learn who you are, who each other are, who you are, who people are. And that's why I said it's really important to know yourself first, because I don't feel that you need to be getting to know yourself, like trying to say, I need to know myself. When you should already know yourself, because not knowing yourself and in a relationship, then maybe you shouldn't, be in one, because then it burdens the other person to try and figure you out, and you're trying to figure someone out. It's too much of a hassle. And there's also one thing that I learned, as in like just in life, I spent a lot of time, I think, in my previous relationship trying to figure him out, or trying to figure out why I was reacting the way. And that took a lot of my focus, and it took me away from the actual relationship, and realizing like, no, this relationship is not right, it's not working, I need to cut it off. And it took me too long to get to that point, a bit too long, but I got there in the end. And why I say that is that it's like, especially if you read a lot of books and that, because I did that a lot, and trying to figure this out and trying to figure out. And now, as long as you start to know you don't need to figure anyone out. If it's not working, you can show them the door. It is actually that simple. It's harder said, it's easier said than done, but it is a reality and a truth. And if you get to learn quicker, it's less misery for you. So looking for solid relationships is by just truly, as I will keep on saying, coming back to self and understanding, okay, this is who I am and this is what I want. And so there's other things you can do to build a strong relationship. Once you've built the relationship and you are in it and you get comfortable, because that's what happens as the years go by, you get comfortable with one another. You need to try and put quality time and spend time with each other and doing things together, because it keeps the bond strong. You have shared interests and they have also their interests. You do things together and they do things on their own, and that also builds your strength. So when you come back together, you can talk about the things you've done and what interests you and things like that. Physical intimacy is really, really important. I know a lot of people say that it's not important to them. It all depends on the relationship, but if you're that kind of person, you should match your physical intimacy should match each other. If one person is want to be more physically intimate than the other one, it's not going to work, because it does cause a lot of friction within relationships. It really does. And for a while, someone can take so much, but over a period of time, they just can't, and it builds into, it filtrates, it's like into other issues, as well. So your physical intimacy needs to be the same. It's very important, but that's also not just like the sexual part of it. It's also like holding, kissing, touching, just having a connection and being with each other. And it needs to be kind of like equal. You don't have to be the same, but you should match each other, because like I said, if one is there and the other one's there, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. This is a true fact. Anyway, conflict resolution is important to be able to acknowledge when you're wrong, and also to apologize, and also to have a solution to a problem. So in my previous relationship, there was no solution to this problem, because he was always cheating, so we were always fighting. So that was never gonna solve anything. So the resolution was, I'm out. It's not working. When you're with somebody who's more mature and more in tune and wants the relationship to work, then you need to understand each other and talk about it, and try and come to some sort of resolution, because you're not always going to agree. That's not normal. If you are always agreeing with someone, then somebody is sacrificing more than they should. You can disagree, but you can also come to an agreement. You can resolve the disagreement. You don't have to agree. So if you're always agreeing with somebody, or there's always peace because you're agreeing, then somewhere someone is overcompensating, is overgiving, is overdoing something, and somewhere there's going to be resentment. So conflict is going to be there. Disagreements are normal. You're not going to agree with certain things that your partner does or doesn't do, but the most important thing is, after the conflict, what do you do? How do you solve it? How do you make sure that you don't argue about that same thing again and again? Because there's got to be a solution. And that's another thing. You don't want to have to keep up bringing the same thing over and over again. And if you find yourself bringing up the same issue over and again, there's no improvement, then you rethink the relationship. Doesn't always mean that, but you need to ask yourself, how much of something can you take? Because there is a limit to everything. And I think for now, I'm just going to say, for yourself, you need to have your own personal growth, your own independence, and your own just being yourself. So you are separate. You are not half of each other. You're 100% of yourself, 100% of the partner. You're not 50-50. So you have your independence. You do your own things. At the same time, you come together and you are bringing your strengths into the relationship, not trying to solve each other, and just be so emotional. And I noticed over the years, as you are in a relationship, because I've been like in mine for 8 years, as you go on, you become less emotional, as in reacting. You calm down. Well, I did. You calm down because you reach a level of understanding and support and knowing how each other works. You do calm down. I think if you get to a certain years and you're not calmed down, then probably that relationship is not you. Because at my 8 years in my previous relationship, we were breaking up, and that was because throughout all those years there was always turmoil. It was always fighting. There was always, it was really that bad. And by the year eight, we were going our separate ways because it was not working. Whereas now, in this year, it's calmed down. It's like, even with my having my son, it calms down. The highs and that, it calms down. So I think that if you find that it's not getting less and less as you grow together, then you might need to question and figure out, or do some work and see how that would go. Anyway, guys, thank you very, very much for listening, and I hope this helped somebody. I hope you feel more confident in going forward, whether you're starting or in one or trying to build your bonds. Please subscribe to my channel so I can grow this channel, so I can continue to talk about things that I enjoy. Share your thoughts, post something, and like, and yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you. Bye for now.